Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force. Any minute now. Any minute now.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Blood Force. So this is Blood Force. Blood Force is a comic book that I write and draw. It is both a celebration and a parody of 90s extreme comics, and it is full of crazy stuff like this, and the action is only getting better with every page. And in order to read Blood Force, all you have to do is open the description below, click the link, go to my Patreon, and subscribe there. By subscribing on my Patreon, not only do you get access to the Blood Force comic, all of it in its entirety, you also get access to every video that I make before I post it to YouTube, usually about a week or two in advance, as well as the pre-Blood Force stuff. So we're talking about the sketches I made coming up with Blood Force, as well as a couple of projects I worked on before I did Blood Force. All this for just $3 American. You cannot get Arm Blades and Vengeance for a better price. So subscribe today, let's get Blood Force out on those shelves, and let's give the world the comics it deserves.
Okay, go! Alright, here we go. So, we are on issue 2, page 18 of Blood Force. And we're getting into the good stuff now, as you can see plainly. We're getting into the kick-ins. Kick-ins is a good place to start. Although, while the Cyber Zerk pose here did end up being pretty close to the final pose, that left leg ended up being a bit of a bitch. He doesn't end up, you can see there, I've erased hard there. So, yeah, I decided it wasn't clear enough what was going on. So, this is a continuation of page 17. That's generally how page progression works. So, it's just 2 panels. First panel is leaping into the fray. Second panel is Cyber Zerk giving a big kick to somebody. In this case, it's going to end up being Hawkstab, because Hawkstab is the one leading the way. And in my head, it made a bit more sense where he would leap over Hawkstab, like do a flip. And I think from different angles, when I mapped that top panel out from different angles, that made more sense. But the way it ended up, not so much. So he was leaping at Hawkstab, and then all of a sudden he'd be kicking hard. You know, it just didn't work. So he ended up kicking Hawkstab instead. And this kick looks amazing. The left leg here does end up being a bit of a problem because it looks a little dislocated. But the rest of it, the entire rest of the pose is fantastic. I'm rather pleased with it. And the Hawkstab reaction shot, also very good. I'd say the only problem is that Hawkstab immediately looks weak. But that's okay, because Hawkstab's a goof. They're all goofs. They're allowed to look weak at any given time. You can get some tighter penciling on this, because this is just too much fun to draw, and we don't want to fuck up the inks. Nope. We're going to make it so you can't see me draw the face, though. Yeah, I forgot about that. Face looks pretty good. There we go. Wanted to get that kind of wind tunnel delayed reaction shot. Anybody ever? I don't know if anybody's the hockey fan. If you've seen the Matt Cook fight with Evander Kane, you can always just look up Matt Cook punch, and that's Cook with an E. And that was a bit of the inspiration behind. Oh fuck! I can just put it up here. Why don't I do that? Yeah, I'll put it up here. So this is the inspiration behind that distorted mouth shape, which I'm rather pleased with. And this is a big, everybody converge in a fight kind of shot. It's good stuff. It's a little tougher to map out than I thought it would be. It's tough to get everybody in there looking like they're doing something interesting, for one thing. Originally I had this, it would have been like, if you were like on a third-story balcony, kind of to Hawkstab's right there. It doesn't really make any sense. But, you know, so Cyber Zerk looked good. Hard looked okay. Everybody else, you know, And this way, pretty good. That Hawkstab pose was rather tough to nail down. And this hard one, too, actually. Because this angle doesn't exist. Like, how are you supposed to do this angle? Yep, change the leg on Maxtremis here so it doesn't look like on the panel below Cyberzerk is holding her foot up. You want to try and avoid those tangents if you can. That fucking left foot, that thing took me forever to figure out. Just, no, like this, no, like this, no. Definitely not. This was also on a live stream, the penciling on this. I swear I took like half an hour trying to figure out this foot and just messing my page up more and more. It's like, oh wait, you can do it on a different piece of paper, yes. I swear, these are all just feet. Some of them look like they're, like, maybe not. No, they're all just feet. And you know what? If you go back, I end up with pretty much the original position. Oh, yes. The famous McFarlane backwards foot. And backwards hand, as we found out. So ultimately, the Maxtremis pose here ended up looking pretty good. I'd say except for that left foot, which I was never really happy with, but the rest of it was good enough that it was, I'm fine. And the rest of the page is pretty great. This is one of the better pages. Easy. And the fact that it's so much fun just, like, really elevates it. More penciling? I think so. We got to pencil all of Cyberzerk's cyber hair. Actually, that's a good idea. At one point, I should have him saying, "My cyber hair!" And getting a bit more comfortable using an actual brush on outlines here. Getting some slightly thinner lines. Looks alright. Very important, though, getting the thick outlines. Everything here ended up looking alright. This left leg is a little awkward. Or right leg, rather, on a Hawkstep. Left leg is awkward, but it's the right kind of awkward. The right leg on Hawkstep here, the way it's off to the side, probably should have been more in front of him, but that's okay. And I think I did end up doing most of the inking on the second panel here on the live stream. So that'll be the focus, mostly for the first part of the video. And that was like 4 hours. But, as is tradition, start with Hawkstep's face. Pretty good reaction shot, I think. I like the impact line here. Just the direction it goes. Everything feels nice and impactful. And the position of that foot, actually, I'm quite pleased with that. That was a bit of a tough angle to get. As soon as I get it, I'm like, oh, that's the right angle right there. Don't fuck it up. And luckily didn't. And we actually ended up going right to the extreme edge of the page here. Usually I don't. Usually I leave at least the outside bleed area. And I'll often even end the page at the inside bleed area. That leaves you with plenty of room. But not in this case, apparently. Which made things a little difficult because at the top I put my name and the name of the book rather and the page number, and I actually had to wipe those out because we can't have not fighty stuff on this page apparently anywhere. Oh yeah, figuring out word balloons. Well, sound effects in this case. It's a little tough finding the right shape of the sound effect, but I think I found a good one. And then have Hawkstab's blades superimposed over it. And I like the effect this has. Still, I'm pretty sure, again, the lettering here probably took at least 20 minutes to figure out. And got some help with the which sound effect to use from the chat. So thank you guys for that. I think it looks good. Remembering to put in sound effects is always difficult for me, and it is kind of important. It's an important element of the page. And when you don't put it in, everything ends up feeling kind of sterile. So I'm not great at lettering. I'm gonna have to try to get a little better though, and we'll get there to the point where it's just constant noise on every page, as it should be. Okay, and then I'm gonna, put in the blades, very nice, and then outline. Get a pretty thick outline around these sound effects, which is important. It's a part I always forget about. But you can't have thin sound effects. It just looks weak. It looks like you don't believe what you're doing. You got to be like very bold outlines. And I was going to try and make everything horizontal on Cyberzerk's leg here. And then I went and kind of forgot when I got to the shin plates, which is, just kind of par for the course for me. Something kind of always gets forgotten. Usually fairly quickly. And then remembered to, okay, so we're going to hatch in. Yeah, we'll do some streaks on the foot there. And I think I end up doing kind of horizontal hatching on the actual shin guards. Or maybe I already did. It's a little hard to tell on my copy. Or my video here. Yeah. And this, all this shiny stuff ended up looking alright. I gotta say, there were very, very few problems with this particular page. Most things ended up being, let's try this, and most of them worked. Like, flat out. So, it's just like, okay, shit. Can't complain about that. And the stuff that didn't, I was able to white out fairly easily and move on with. But this, bent, almost, backwards pose that Cyberzerk's doing, that's great stuff. This fight's going to go on for a while. I've got pretty much all mapped out now. Didn't map it out at first because I didn't, you don't know what you're going to do until you get there. You don't know what the mood is. And I've never done this kind of fight before, where it's, 4 people against 1 dude, and you want to try and extend it a bit. But so this'll go until, this is page 18 here. I expect the fight to go until about page 24, maybe even 25. I'm not for sure. Depends how, because there's a wrap up page as well that needs to go in there, and that. He's got that circle thing on the front of his face here that I assume is like a camera. And as soon as I tried to render it like a camera, it ended up looking like a big old eye. And then all of that brow stuff, you get those brow lines around the camera there, ended up looking like eyelashes. So it looks like he's got this gigantic cow eye in the middle of his face. So that was going away, definitely. And this hair is a bitch to render, but it looks pretty cool when it's done. Every time. And like I go in and I like, render every single dread, put all the coils on there, and then you got to put in shinies on most of the coils. And it takes a while, as you can see. Like this is, what is this, like 16 speed, I think? Around there. And we're still going. And now we can do the shinies. There we go. It's a pain in the ass. Actually, maybe more relevantly, it's a pain in my hand. And like putting in some shadows and everything. Like, oh my god. But, it looks pretty great. It looks a bit like a mop, but that's okay. And I maybe should have thickened up that line a little bit of the staff. Although it's another thing that can get kind of fixed with color, maybe. Yeah. And I want these blades to have a bit of weight to them, where they're like, because they're too long. I want them to have a little bit of sag on them. Oh, there we go. And we got the rallying cry here, which was suggested by another member of the chat. Thank you very much. I had my version in there, which was Blood Form Up. Because I wanted it to be like Avengers Assemble, where it's like, alliterative and everything. So it's like Blood Force. And then the first thing you go to is, okay, so Force Form Up, okay. But Blood Force Form Up, I don't like it. It's too, I don't know. It lacks that stupidity. So I decided to make it alliterative, like BFBF. So it should be like, Blood Force, something B, Form Up. So Blood Force, like Blood Form Up. And then I just left it there. Because I thought that was nice and stupid. And then, remember the chat suggested, let's do some blood work. And it's like, oh, okay, that's a lot better. We're not going to do all of these speed lines. I think these are just the ones I did on the chat, or towards the end of the chat. Or the live stream, rather. But there's going to be a lot more than this. This probably would have been enough. But if you can see down in the corner here, yeah, the speed lines have multiplied significantly. And there will be some up here as well, and kind of going in, but not going in the same direction. Can't have that. And also switched around. There have been a few minor tweakings here and there. So, for instance, Hard's hand here used to be pointing more inwards, but then that tended to make it look as though everybody was about to attack Hawkstab. Actually, by pointing it at Cyberzerk here, I think that refocuses it properly. And then again, can't remember to check the camera to make sure that I'm filming the right thing. So this is, just drawing like all this flame stuff, which ended up looking all right. Probably would have been good to maybe like, take film of that, take video. Oh well. And yeah, trying to work this angle is tough because, like I said, you're never going to get this angle of anything. I feel like his hand should be coming in from the top right. And then, like, what do you do with the obliques? I'm just going to make shit up. Have it all just kind of taper off into shadow. get some more brushes in here. That's a good idea. Oh, and we're back up. And so, yeah. So you can see where all that flame went. You can get a better idea of where all the speed lines are on the bottom panel there. And you can't see too much else because that glare is kind of tough. I swear, I can't find a fucking light that won't, like, just insanely glare out everything on the page. But, yeah. Some proper hatching in there. That fist on hard here, that ended up looking pretty good, particularly with the shading here. Yeah, that's all right. It's not an easy angle, and it ended up looking pretty good. And shade off this shit. And that should be just about it for, oh yeah. Yeah, so you got rid of the page number and all that, and then we're going to white in some veins on hard, because that's just appropriate. And then you hatch off the veins there to make it look more like it's part of the image. And pretty dynamic pose here for Hawkstab. I like how this turned out. Like I said, kind of a tough angle, but I think it works out okay. I feel like maybe the torso's a little short, but I don't mind it. Like I said, I'm not using any references for this stuff. I'm just kind of going, and it's looking all right. All right, now we get to shade those veins. You know, again, would have been good. Got it on camera. Oh well. Yeah, see, it looks all right. And then, oh, I think I kind of messed up a little bit here because those blades are going to have to hang in front of his fist a little bit. Oh, that looks better. So back off the camera. All right, I'm trying to remember that for next time. And of course, one of the funny things about Hawkstab's blades is that he can't actually stab with them very well. But Hawkslice doesn't sound as cool. Hawkstab, now that's a cool name. That's a name you can see on a lunchbox. Alright, then we get this Maxtremus pose going, which I'm rather pleased with to this point. And so, again, it's just a matter of, okay, now don't fuck it up. That foot, yeah, no, not good. But nowhere near the focus of the page, so I think it's okay. That shiny on the ass was sort of a last-second improvisation, and I think it made that look way better, actually. It was going to be all black. And then this bend in the spine, the unnatural bend, that looked great. You know, if you saw it in real life, you'd probably scream in horror. But on a comic book page, that's the kind of thing it should look like. And that's the kind of pose I have difficulty coming up with off the top of my head. So I'm rather pleased with all of Maxtremus here, pretty much. Except that fucking foot. But I'm not a foot guy anyway, so it's okay. And even this hair looks kind of neat. Where it's like sheets. And like different planes. And I think I want to try and reproduce that. I'm not sure if I can, but we'll give it a shot. And then we got everybody here except Cyberzerk. And there we go. We get him leaping into action here. As it stands, this first pose here isn't the best, maybe, but it's like a good moment in time before the action really kicks off. And then if you see that in context with the next panel, it really gives that sense of motion. like a snap of the leg. And again, getting to do all that mop hair. Okay, it's all outlined. Now let's do the coils. Oh boy, on every single one that's visible. Did a little bit of shadow in here, and debated leaving off shadow on the coils. I did end up putting some in there. Oh, maybe it's already done that. I think it is. But, like, again, that hair looks pretty fucking great. And it's going to be very good for carrying the motion of a scene. And here we go with some more speed lines, all centered on Cyberzerk's eye. So those are the big ones. Again, this could have been enough. This would have been okay. Get some Kirby Crackle in there. Very nice. And I think I want more speed lines than this. I decided not to film the ones on the one below just because it was going to be tedious. This is a little bit less so, at least. It's a bit quicker. As I struggle to find something to say about it. No. Alright, that's about that. So we should be about done. There we go. Okay. So I like that page quite a bit. I don't know if I want to go so far as to say it's my best page so far. It's in contention, I think, for a full-on story Blood Force kind of page. Yeah, I think that that's worth consideration. That one, page 17, which is just before it, wasn't it? Yeah. No, and like we're getting to the really fun shit where it's all gonna, and I'm gonna try and keep up the intensity. So keep watching these because it's gonna theoretically get better, and hopefully I won't blast it all out with glare. But that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go follow me on Twitter. More importantly, go and subscribe on my Patreon. That's where all these Blood Force pages end up, including this one. And that's where all of my videos actually go before they go to YouTube, usually about a week or so in advance. There's also some process stuff and a few Patreon exclusives. So head on over there. There's a good value for $1 there. But yeah, once again, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.